That's wrong, sir.
Do.
And now, the Energies Us production company presents Radio Ball. We had 'em all the way, presented by the Pittsburgh Poltergeezers. And action. Hello and thank you. It's good to be back. I have to make this quick. I have about 10 minutes. It's 2:37, 10/17 Sunday. My name's Mark. Oh, excuse me. Ground strap helps a little bit. Once your frequency gets high enough, you won't need it, is my belief. Okay, I'll go over the notes. I'll mention some things from the last videos. Feel free to copy and share anything I teach. Okay, and with that, I started plasma experiments 8 years ago, generating and programming with what you would call prayer. Okay, this is Quantum Earth Physics Debrief. The magnetic convection stream pattern I described like this, like boiling water, but it is indeed like this. You can look up magnetic convection on your own. And I'm sorry for the delay. I haven't done this for a year. I've had a lot of patrols, and I ran the experiments as much as I could because this was the end. And the magnetosphere and assorted firmaments are gone around the Earth. Hell, subterranean souls, and covert death energies have been erased and overwritten. 98% or so is forgiven. You can watch the last video. All shall be able to do what they used to call divination, but it's better than that. Quantum pondering is another name for it. History of the planet, orbit, orbital and axis damage, or we will say misplacement. The bad news was you were on a non-sustainable human energy farm, and that's over. Under the firmament, Lucifer was Luciferus. I'll explain that. Satanism had a lot to do with magnetism, and it was replaced and assisted with magnetism. Thank you. And the assorted firmaments, magnetic, pyramidal, chemical, and EMF. I'll go over that with these very briefly. My past videos, I speak of the end times physics, why everyone's forgiven, and why things are changing, like the end of the firmaments. And on YouTube, if you want to search, I'm shadow banned because I teach these things, apparently. You have to use all the parameters. Mark Buchanan, Energies Us, and Outsane. And then pick the playlist named Outsane. And if you notice, Energies Us sounds like Enter Jesus. And just listen to what I teach. Believe what you will. Ponderance helps if you know what the 100th monkey effect is, and other people call it prayer or inquiries on internet and similar. Plasma, I went over that a little in the first videos. We make it, we can generate it with ourselves or mechanically. It's programmable, rewritable, connects all in the galaxy, and it seems to be sentient because of that. It connects to so many life forms that you can communicate through and to. And it's attracted to magnetics. You can look that up in a physics lecture in your local library. A magnet, I believe, means big net. And when I was taught that when two magnets, even if one magnetic field is large and one is small, because of their convection streams, they unify and share common datas. And Earth firmaments. We'll go over, you can think for yourself why it's named ear and firm mind. We had magnetospheric, from what I've been taught, pyramidal, the pyramids, caused the firmament, or sort of a blanket or insulator from the heavens. Volcanic crystals, like piezos, because of their nature, electrically and physically, they cause great interference between you and your heaven. And chemtrails had the heavy metals, high energy, 7.5 hertz. And Nassim Harriman mentioned that. It was cranked way up by the military. They said to communicate beneath the surface. Think what you will on that. The research should be available for you. Personal firmaments, it's just kind of an offshoot here. Monoatomic metal on your finger. High density crystal. I believe diamond is the hardest of the crystals, which if you want to make a radio, you have a ground wire, a crystal, and an antenna. I think you get KDKA or 1080 AM, somewhere around in there, probably depending on the crystal you use. And then since you're living in a high magnetic and electromagnetic frequential environment, pharmaci, which I believe means magic, which to me means science you don't understand, but you're using it anyway. And you can read this for yourself. Things that would interact either chemically, after a chemical alteration within your body would interact with your environment. All these waves flying around, magnetic, electromagnetic. Of course, cell phones, y'all probably know that. TVs, monitors, whether they're on or off. Why would you have a firmament around the planet? I'm sure. My guess would have been taught was there was an impact. There was great damage. And that, as you can see, the Pittsburgh coal seam is evidence of that, and there may be other evidentiary concavities on the surface, if I use proper wording, big dents in the planet. And there was combustion, because when you have force, like in a diesel motor, apparently it will self-combust. So, and of course it would have caused mayhem and polluted the plasma pool of the galaxy. So, sorry you got stuck under here. Someone must have cared very much about you to come and record your magnetic data so your souls would not be fractured and scattered to the wind, as it were. Oh, and the inner echoics of the planet would be changed, so you couldn't come in the back door of hell. It was the singularity point within the planet. And if you did, you would be buffered with an orb-in-orb structure rather than 19. I believe I put on here, the flower of life is 19 interconnected orbs within orbs, at least in an echoic cymatic blueprint. Lucifer, Luciferus, the sun, the earth. Yeah, it corrupts light-borne data. So this would have been a prioritized communication system, as you may have already guessed from what we just learned. It interferes greatly with your conductivity, because you're the circuit wire, you're the little processor between Earth and heaven. You're part of the circuitry. So, but that has ended, in my belief. If you look at the sun, it's white now instead of orange, as it was when I was a child. And the elders on the surface can testified to the sun coming in northern windows where it did not before. And I believe I mentioned that the wobble of Earth and orbital plane have been returned to their optimal status in the circuitry of your galaxy. Quantum pondering. This is a fun one for us humans down here. Your DNA is in an antenna. I mentioned that. You're only using 4%. They said the 96% was junk. That's probably untrue. That gives you that 24 extra channels that was in the earlier videos. I mean, this is kind of how it works. You send a charge out there like a plasma echoics. Kind of like dumping Kool-Aid in the water. It's going to come back to you eventually. Not the best example, but we'll say an echoic Kool-Aid in water that would come back and gather ingredients back on the way that it was charged to accept. Yeah, they don't actually float. I was taught it's just electron exchange rate. Excuse me. Ouch. Ouch. And this would apply to all creatures. I was taught since your DNA is 90, since your DNA is 98% the same, you could co-divinate with the creatures on the surface and your fellow humans. Sorry to sound like an alien. I'm just letting it come out that way. Okay, and I think we still got...